After over 30 years from the 1992 original horror game Alone in the Dark, we are finally back in a new reimagining of that game. But are we still left in the dark? Let's find out. Hey everybody, my name is Warwick and welcome back to another review video of mine, or if you're watching for the first time, hi, welcome to your first video of mine. Welcome in, hope you're doing well. Like I said, my name is Warwick. I mainly stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Warwick. I do various things like these review videos. But if you are new here, if you give us a like and subscribe, we really appreciate it. Even give us a comment what you think of the review, of me, of the game. You can say anything you want, nothing too bad. But today we are playing a new game called Alone in the Dark. We're going to check it out, give my thoughts and feelings of it, and see what it's all about. And I'm very excited. So straight away, as you get in, you load up the game, and it already really sets up the atmosphere of this game. So you've got Alone in the Dark, you've got the title screen, you've got this sort of like haunted jazz music playing, which is really, really cool. And then you got like the setting of the game with the big mansion and stuff. And you got like this sort of like bleeding sort of like black effect around it, which is really cool. And then you go to the settings, got a few options available. Not everything's open to you until you start the game, but you've got like camera shake options, vibration and tutorials. Go to controls. I did play this on PC, so I'm using a control, but you can use mouse or keyboard, or they do say they do recommend a controller. This is also available on PlayStation 5 and on Xbox. And then you've got key binding for the keyboard. From what I can see, you can't change the key binding for the controller, but you can change it for the keyboard. And there's a lot of different options you can change in keyboard, which is great. You've got the various settings of camera sensitivity, inverted camera. You've got even change button mash. So if you don't want a button mash, you can just use that as a hold, which is great. Audio, text, standard stuff. You've got your subtitles, you've got your languages. There's a few languages available there as well as in the text. It's always good to see a voice volume, but I always feel like voices are a bit quiet in video games. And then you've got different types of subtitles and the display. And change your display how you would like to have it seen. So you've got like shadows, midtones, and highlights, and you can adjust it how you would like. So you can change bits and bobs of brightness and the contrast, which is great to see. And you get to see what it would look like in each setting. High dynamic range. You've got motion blur, you can change all that. And then you've got video. So you've got your settings, a lot of different graphic changes you can make to the game to tailor it how you want. And then you start the game, so you've got three settings. You've got easy, standard, and hard. Standard is what they recommend for the first time. You've got hard if you are wanting to challenge yourself, or easy, just enjoy the story. And you've got modern and old school. So modern basically means it will help you out with some extra tutorials and like hints throughout the game, where old school will literally, you are on your own. And so you basically how you can change it in game. So if you feel like you're not getting a lot from the game, you can change it. And then we're straight into the game. So this is a reimagining of the original 1992. Yes, 1992 original horror game. I basically think it started it all. It doesn't get a lot of credit as say like Resident Evil and stuff like that. Survival horror was coined because of Resident Evil. But, you know, it's a well-known fact that Alone in the Dark was inspiration for Resident Evil and other games from it. So it's good to see it come back. So you've got our characters here who are talking and sort of talking about the story, what's going on, gets you into the game straight away. You may recognize these actors. You've got Edward Canby or Emily Hartwood, two characters that you get to play. You get to play them both. Not at the same time. You can actually choose which path you want to play. So you can either choose a female or male character. And with that, you do see different things throughout your playthrough. Not major things, like the story will follow a very same story, but you have different interactions, which will sort of show you a little bit later on. But again, characters are interacting. You find out that Emily Hartwood, concerned about her uncle, hasn't heard from him and trying to investigate, and so has hired this PI, which is Edward here, and they go to the mansion and we find out what's going on. So they don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on. And then you get to pick which character you would like. So there we go. So you can choose your character. So you've got Emily Hartwood there, which is played by Jodie, and then you've got Edward Canby, who's played by David Harbour. And I will say straight away, the acting and voice work is incredible. Really, really good. They really get into the role and you really feel like you're in this like sort of 1920s style world and stuff, which is great to see. My first playthrough, I did play as Emily. Check it out, because Emily's the one who's sort of concerned about the uncle. So I thought it'd be good to go through her playthrough for a little bit. and then you start the game. This is where you start, very moody, very atmospheric, and this is where you sort of learn the basics of the controls. I will say, if you've played some of the remakes of Resident Evil, played Dead Space, or any sort of the remakes of horror games that come out in the last couple of years, you will be very familiar with the controls. And as like I said, go back to the settings, you can actually now change difficulties and various bits and bobs that you would like to do. Guidance, you can have text highlighting, map highlighting, dynamic objectives, and reveal interaction points. If you wanted, you have old school where turn them all off, or if you wanted, you can have it modern, but maybe take map highlighting off or dynamic objectives, depending on how your playthrough wants to be. And straight away, very impressed with how it looks. So I'm running on a 3090 NVIDIA graphics card, fairly decent PC setup, and it handles very, very well. Didn't have to do too much, just settings, didn't have to change much. I put it to the recommended, and there's me just sort of playing around with the controls. So you got your gun, you got, standard left trigger is to aim, and then right trigger is to shoot. You look around, you can zoom in. So if you want to look around your surroundings, you can zoom in like that. If you crouch, you sort of zoom out a bit and see more of your surroundings. So obviously I'm guessing it's from sneaky stuff. And that's me just sort of just playing around with the controls and getting the bearings of everything. But yeah, so far I was really impressed with how it looks. Lighting looked great. Everything looked really, really interactable. Like there's a lot going on here. Even with this engine, you can actually move it with yourself. Obviously, it didn't move very far, but it's an engine. So it's quite, but you can actually move it, which I thought was a very nice touch. But yeah, so you get into the game and it's a standard tutorial. You are learning about things. You gather equipment, you gather keys, you gather a light to get through. You can't walk past the darkness, unfortunately. If you walk past it, as we do here, the game will tell you to turn back. So you go to that very bright light that you want to. They normally say don't go to a bright light, but in this occasion, you can. Pick that up and you learn a bit more about mechanics. So you got a torch on you that you can use a toggle on and off. As far as I know, there's no batteries for it, so you can leave it on whenever you want, but it may be a hazard dependent on some potential enemies or not. Who knows? I don't know. Don't want to spoil anything, of course. And yeah, so you learn about the game and stuff and learning more about the world and seeing some little things going on that doesn't seem quite right. And obviously you got ammo, you can pick up stuff. So I've got the modern, so sort of highlights a bit more for me. If you have classic, you can still see it, but it's not quite there as much as the modern. And then you go through, and then this room was so impressive. So when I went into such a massive conservatory, just the look of it and everything is incredible. Like that also spooked me. Don't worry about that. But you got this massive tree in the center, but there's a little water fountain feature. I sort of crouched to sort of get more of a look of it, and it just looks like the atmosphere is spot on. It feels creepy. It feels run down. It feels overpowering. It's incredible. And yeah, you go through the game, bog standard stuff, you sort of learn about the environment, what's going on in the world, gathering things, so sort of investigating things. Throughout that, I was very impressed with how the game was holding and looking. Like the water effects was really great. And you just look around, see what's going on. You can interact with quite a few things. There's like cupboards and stuff you can open. Sometimes there's not stuff in there, but sometimes there is. You've got like health drink, so brandy, health, of course. A really nice feature that I found while playing this game was there are some like notes or documentation that you can find. And what's really great is, from what I can see, every line is fully voiced. So here we picked up a family Bible, and it's actually narrated by the person who wrote it, or potentially who wrote it anyway. But yeah, every piece of notes or like books was fully voiced, which was incredible. The amount of work that had to go into that is incredible. It really, really is, because you hardly see that. Like a lot of times you don't see things voiced at all, like it's all text. And that's all fine, but sometimes it can be quite hard to read a lot of text, where there is a lot of text, but it's fully voiced. You can stop it as well if you want. You can go back, you can listen to it, you can read it yourself. But to see this and hear this was a very, very nice surprise. So straight away I was like, wow, attention to detail, let's go. But like I said, you investigate. So you let a friend detective in the house, and then you start to get meeting some of the characters of this mansion. Now you think, why didn't they answer the door? But I'm sure there's a reason why. Maybe like the detective said, it's a big place. Who knows? You got cutscenes, you investigate, or you start learning about the world. So Emily Hartwood is looking for her uncle, and people seem to be a bit shady about this. These people, they seem a bit off. It's like they don't seem that concerned that someone's gone missing. And then we politely make our way to Jeremy's room for some clues. And this is where you start learning about the game with the puzzles. So for me, a big part of survival horror is not just the horror elements, but also puzzles. Like Resident Evil 1 has a lot of puzzles, which is really cool. So yeah, you pick up items and then you can interact with other items, and then you try to work out the puzzle. So this is quite a simple puzzle. I got it quite straight away, which I'm very proud of. There are more puzzles that get more difficult as your game goes. But again, it's about establishing the world, establishing the game and the premise of it. And this is where it starts really kicking in. So things seem a bit off anyway, don't they? But things, well, you can see now. You can see now with this painting. That's Jeremy, I'm guessing. He's not looking great. He's still not looking great. So we stare into this painting a little bit too long. But things seem okay. But then, lighting's changed. Where's our friend gone? Where's the detective gone? Where's anyone gone? What's going on here? And then we learn we are not where we were. Yeah. So now you need to investigate what's going on. You're like, wait, hang on. How did I transport here? So this is where it really starts kicking in. So I get my weapon ready. Always get my weapon ready. I will say there are certain elements in the game where you come across like locked doors or locked compartments, and they won't be accessible straight away. But this game asks for replayability. So you will come back to areas. You will be able to unlock things that you wouldn't be able before. And again, with the two characters, you get to play them both, or you can do anyway. And you get like 90% of the story in each one, but you get the full story playing both. Anyway, there's me investigating. And this, again, like I said, this is where it sort of really kicks in. This is where our enemies come in. So as you can see, stalking in the background is some weird creature. And then I try to sneak up behind it. And then, oh, hello. And then get hit. So, and try to do a really, really bad job. But I finally survived that. Just about. But yeah, what I will say is with Emily's character, like with the weapons and stuff, it does feel like someone who's maybe not used a gun before. Very apprehensive, where if you play as a detective, Edward, he feels very much more used to a gun, and it does feel like there's a difference in that, which I think is really a nice touch. Like you feel that inexperience with Emily's character with using a gun and sort of how holding it. It seemed like it's a bit more sporadic, moving around. Also, there's my torch, just testing it out. I feel like the enemies will react to the light, so I try to keep it off as much as I can. But yeah, so you learn about the enemies, or you learn about there are enemies about, so you keep your wits about you. And again, with survival horror, it's all about scavenging resources. They're always scarce, so you have to make sure you're looking around everywhere. There are many bits and pieces you can find. You've got bins, which you've got health, ammo. There's various bits of information that you will need. But yeah, this is really, really nice fog stopping you from where you're going. So it tells you where you can't go that far. I did try. I can't go that way, apparently. I wanted to. I did want to. Also, there's me just looking at the trash. There's nothing in there. But yeah, I love this setting. Straight away, like this setting and atmosphere is incredible. Like the lighting, the moodiness of it, and similar like mindset with Emily's character. Like, what is going on? What is this place? And it's fantastic. Like just the lighting and the setting is incredible. Like it's unnerving. You don't know what's going to come at you at any point. It's very eerie, also very beautiful as well. It does feel lived in. And I think the team done an incredible job with making this come to life, this game. Like this bit here with this enemy in the light, just it's incredible, just so unnerving. Oh my goodness, what is going on? The lighting with the bus and the cars and everything else, and just like even the street light there and the fog, just it builds this incredible atmosphere, which I was just fully immersed in and blown away by. There is things you can throw at the enemies as well, which is quite cool. Some of them work better than others. Sometimes just piss them off, basically. But yeah, I was really, really impressed with how the game, how it looked and stuff, and how it handled. There wasn't seem to be any real frame drops that I noticed. Maybe a couple frame drops when it opened a door into a new area. But beyond that, it felt like it handled very, very well. It was very responsive on the controller. I did play a little bit with Edward's character, played by David Harbour. And as you can see, very similar. You know, David decides to go down to check the basement first. And it, again, follows very similar beats. I did notice, again, it does feel like David's character is quicker to draw the weapon. It seems like it's more steady with the gun, which I think is a nice touch because, you know, David's character who's a detective who would know about guns, where Emily's character wouldn't so much be about that, you know? You still have the same story beats, but as we can see, things do play a little bit differently. So we actually meet different characters and they actually have different dialogue as well. So Edward, David's character, takes more of a lead with on his side of things. But as you notice from the other cutscene, they actually playing it differently. So it's very recommended to play both stories to get the full experience of this game, to learn everything else, because you do learn little bits that you won't learn in one playthrough compared to the other. The main whole game, you still get experience from it, you still learn about it, but you will get little tidbits. And also, playing both, be able to unlock certain elements. So you get collectibles in the game, and some are only available in one playthrough compared to the other. So it's very recommended to play both. I think they said about is an 8-hour playthrough for each scenario, so you get a decent amount of gameplay. One of my favorite features was the extras. So with this, you've got a vintage horror setting. So you got this filter, like a really like horror 8-bit filter, which is very cool. They've incredible work with it. They've somehow brought it into like this modern game, but made it seem like it's like 1992 style pixels or PlayStation 1. So you've got this filter here, which is really, really, really cool. And then you've got cinematic, so you like black bars on top and bottom to make it more cinematic, which does work very well. It's amazing what a couple of black bars can do to like a video game. So it just makes it look so cinematic. And like I slowly pan the camera to give it that extra effect. Then you got classic noir. So you got this really old, like sort of static classic noir look, which I think is really, really cool. It makes it quite hard to sort of navigate everywhere because everything is like all the same tone. But I think it gives this really, really cool effect, which is very, very spooky. And then you got Sapio. And then again, you got this really cool like film grain to it, which I think is a really nice touch. Definitely feels like some proper old school film. But again, you got different settings and filters if you want to play around with it. I would recommend playing it on the standard when you first play through to get the full experience. But then if you do a replay, you can get to have fun with the extras. But one of my favorites is the character skins. And these are the original skins from the original 1992 game. So these are the character models from that original game, which I think is incredible. Obviously, it does seem like it takes away a bit from the game because it looks a bit out of place. But I think it's a great, great feature. And I feel like more games should do that. I know Resident Evil did that a little bit, or took them a while to do that, but I feel like having these options is really cool. And I think they've done a really good job. And then another really interesting feature, which I'm not seen often enough actually, is something called director's commentary. So you can enable this in game, and there'll be certain points in the game where you can trigger little commentary icons. You press A, it says dev, and it will actually be a commentary sentence or paragraph from the dev team.
For the French Quarter, we try to incorporate aspects from liminal spaces.
Talking about the game. And I think this is a really, really cool touch. Like I've not seen this before in games. Let me know in the comments if you've seen stuff like this. But I like this. You know, it doesn't seem to be completely playing through the game. It's only when you react to it that it will play. And yeah, I think that's a really cool touch. It definitely shows a lot of love has been poured into this game. And I think it's definitely paid off. And I just had a really, really good time with this game. It was a really, really fun time. I've been waiting a long time for this, and it's been delayed for quite a few times. I think it's meant to come out in like, October, I think, last year, 2023. And now it's coming out in March 2024. And it does feel like the work they've put into it has definitely paid off. Like, I had a fantastic time with this game. Really, really good time with this game. It looks incredible. It feels great. The atmosphere is incredible. I feel like I'm learning, because I played the original all those years ago and I can't remember half it, and seeing this reimagining of it and seeing the care and love putting into it, it seems like it's really, really paid off. Can't wait to play more. I will play more on my stream. Definitely have both playthroughs, but just very much, I think it's very much worth the wait. I had a really good time with it. It felt great. It looked great. The atmosphere was incredible. It played really well on PC. I didn't get a chance to play PlayStation or Xbox, but I'm sure they will handle similar. And I think, especially for horror games, horror lovers, you will definitely not go wrong with this game. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I think this might be a longer review, so hopefully you enjoy them. Let me know if you like longer reviews or shorter reviews, and let me know what you think. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Like I said, I'm on twitch.tv/Warwick. If you'd like to check me out, I've got other videos, other reviews, and hopefully more to come. But thank you very much. Please take care. And whatever you do, don't be alone in the dark. Unless it's this game, which in that case, get this game. It's amazing. Okay, bye.